Hey Vini enthusiasts, how are you doing? I hope you're all having a great week. And I do apologise, I actually filmed this intro yesterday and I watched it back when I went indoors, but I was just in such a grumpy mood yesterday. I was hot, I was flustered, things really didn't go to plan and it just come across in the video. So I scrapped it, I've had a sleep, I'm refreshed, I'm feeling much better and it's time to go again. So the reason I was a little bit grumpy yesterday was the track day didn't go to plan. I had a small failure on Vini, which was the fan belt. Fan belt come off in the second session of the track day. I don't know whether it broke or come off complete, but anyway, the net result was didn't have a fan belt. I thought that's fine, I'll get off track. Plenty of time left on the day. I'll just go and buy a fan belt somewhere. But no hope. I went to Halfords, they don't carry fan belts anymore. I went to 4 separate motor factors, not one of them had a fan belt that was even close. So Vini obviously has a custom fan belt on it, it just drives the alternator, and so it can be a 3 rib, 4 rib or 5 rib, so 3 pk, 4 or 5 pk, and it's around about 600mm in length, but to be honest, anything from sort of 540mm up to probably 700mm I could have probably got fitted on there, but no one had anything even close. So the net result was that was kind of it for the track day in Vini. We carried on going with bolt, and that'll be in a separate video, and I had to limp Vini back again. I did also notice on the track day that the brake pedal started to feel a bit funny when the brakes get hot. It's nothing to do with the brake calipers I fitted on there. I think, and I'll show you in a moment, it looks like the brake master cylinder has just started to leak. So I've pulled the master cylinder forward, had a look inside the servo, and there is a bit of fluid in there, and it appears to have lost a bit of fluid as well. So, you know, it's the original one. So what is that? It's 94, so it's 24, 25 years old. So yeah. And obviously, probably the last time I fiddled around with the brakes, I would have bled them up again. And sometimes that just happens. Where you bleed them, you're pushing the brake pedal down further than it's been for a very long time, because obviously you're bleeding fluid through the system. And if there's a bit of corrosion inside the master cylinder or something like that, it can damage the seal. So I think it's done that. So I'm going to take it off now, and we're just going to have a look. I was just going to order a complete new one off Mini Spares or Mini Sports, something like that. No one seems to have one. They're out of stock everywhere. And with IMM coming up, I'm going to just take it apart, see how bad it is inside, and maybe see if I can get a repair kit for it. So fingers crossed this comes out all right and you can see it. But on the servo here, it was actually Mark that spotted it. It's like the paint started to peel. Now that's only going to happen if something like brake cleaner has dripped on the paint, because it strips paint really well, and it's the same on both sides. So we're just going to pull the master cylinder off and have a look what's going on. So I think first thing we'll do is we'll just put some rags under here, because we're going to drip a bit of fluid. It's kind of inevitable. And once we get it off, just going to get it on the bench, get it stripped down, and we'll see what we can see. I kind of don't want it to be this. Well, I do really. It can't be anything else. As I say, it's taken the paint off, so it can only be brake fluid. That just gave a little hiss as I undone that, which is good because obviously the servo works on vacuum pressure from the engine, and it should hold that pressure inside the servo as a rubber seal on the master cylinder. That can leak. If that leaks, it doesn't hold any pressure. It's actually an MOT failure, that is. But this hasn't been running for probably a couple of hours, so it's obviously holding pressure nicely. I think sort of the way they design them in the MOT is so that if the engine conks out going downhill, you get at least 3 pedal applications where you've got full servo assistance. Otherwise the pedal will just go rock hard, which is not great. Right, this will be the slightly messy bit because I've got to get these undone. It's going to drip fluid as I'm doing it. So I think I'll start with the back one, plug the hole up with my finger, and then we'll do the front one. It's actually better to leave the cap on because you, one, you're not going to spill the fluid, and 2, it does actually act as a bit of a, you know, holding the vacuum pressure to stop the fluid dripping out too much. And of course you don't want to let it drip, especially not on a car like Vini, because you know, everything's painted on it. So good news is that's barely dripping at all. So shame they're not going finger tight. Ah, this one is now. So that one's just started dripping. And the back one has now. That'll probably make it easier to get off because it will lubricate the threads a little bit. Or maybe not. Once this is on the bench, I can just drain it then. So, there we go, I think. Ooh. You see this all around here now. That's yeah, that's definitely been leaking, hasn't it? I'll get like a super bright torch as well. There's brake fluid inside the servo itself, so it can only come from that master cylinder. So we've only dripped down onto the rag there. I'll leave the rag there for the moment. Let's have a look at the master cylinder, take it apart and see what our next action is. Right, so I've just drained that off, brake fluid off. Next thing we're going to do is just remove this roll pin in here so I can get the reservoir off. Quite simple. Proving to be a bit of a pain. that's just gone rusty and snapped now, but maybe not. Well, I don't know. Let's have a look. No, that's all the way out. That's good. Still a bit of fluid in there. So what you should be able to do is just pull the cylinder off now. You want to be a bit careful though, not to damage it. Use like a plastic lever, I think. Right, I think before we go any further, that did snap there. Before we can go any further, I'm just going to get everything tidied up a bit better. It's just a case of stripping it down now. So there's a circlip in the end here. We'll take these rubbers out and start having a look. So the idea now is just to lay everything out as it comes apart. We're just looking for corrosion and that inside. A little bit of corrosion inside there. I'd have thought that would have just come out of there, but it's not. I might have to just put it in the vise. Just give it a bit of a tug. Obviously the circlip's not holding it in now. There we go. So I'm sure there's another plunger in the bottom of there which hasn't come out. So just have a look what we got here, because we're looking at it. So it must be leaking past these seals here and then past that seal on the inside there. So there's a little bit of corrosion on the washer. Well, that will upset the seal, I think. See a corrosion on there. So that is like a double seal on there. So there's no big splits in the seals or anything like that. But we're kind of not looking for that because the brakes haven't failed. Again, there's bits of corrosion inside here. They're like gritty particles. But this is like two stage, so there's still a piston inside there which I've got to try and get out. I've just sussed out, there's a little pin inside of here which is stopping the piston dropping out, so you need to sort of preload it, pull the pin out. So I'm just using an extension socket up and side, push it down along those pliers, that's the pin, and that should allow it to come out now. There we go. So again, there's some just what I would call debris in there. I don't know what it is. I might try and get some out and we'll have a look. Can't see any splits in the rubber again. They look alright. That's kind of the servo seal, that's what keeps the vacuum pressure in, so although that's a bit crappy, it was obviously doing its job. I just want to see what's in this. So this is, let's say there were little, look, don't know whether you guys will see that. There's something in there. Like panning for gold. There we go. You see that now? So I don't know what it is. Let's have a look. Don't think it's rust. It's grit from somewhere. It might be corrosion. So anyway, I think the rest of the seals look okay. The seals, I think I really need to concentrate on are these ones at the front part. So in theory then, so yeah, so this is the front chamber, so there's a front and a rear, or front and a rear seal, and then the rear chamber there's just a rear seal because it's blocked off at the end. So for it to be leaking then, this seal here has got to be leaking a bit of fluid past, and then it's got to be getting past here as well. So that rubber's definitely marked, and they're just corrosion marks. And I actually think probably because they're doing the track day in normal use, you probably wouldn't notice that it may leak a tiny little bit, but you probably wouldn't notice. But of course on the track day you're pushing extra hard on the brakes. So yeah, not completely shot to bits. This is quite important in here though. This does need to be cleaned up. I think what I need to try with that is some Scotch-Brite or something. Yeah, okay, alright. Well, I think we might get away with a repair kit. I've just got to try and clean this up, so bear with me. I won't film this bit because it'd be a bit boring. I'm just going to use some Scotch-Brite to go around the inside there and see whether it comes up okay. Right, I've made the decision. So I started cleaning that up. It does come off, but there's corrosion right down in the very end that there's no way I'm going to be able to get to that. The end of the day, it's a braking component. Yeah, you know, that's the bit which stops you running into a wall or the back of another car or something like that. I'm not going to take a risk on it. I'm not that tight. I think I'll just get another one. Like I say, 24, 25 years old. The corrosion is in there just because brake fluid is hygroscopic, so it attracts water. So if you leave the cap off for any period of time, that will absorb the moisture in the air. That moisture sits in the brake fluid, so even though brake fluid is like oily, it will corrode metal from the inside out. So that's why you change brake fluid regularly, because it does naturally attract water over time. And then of course, when the brake fluid then gets hot under braking, if there's any moisture in there, that causes the water droplets to boil. Obviously, when water boils, it vaporizes, and you get air in your brakes, and your pedal goes all spongy. So yeah, that's that. So sorry, I waffled on for a bit. We've had a go. Like I say, I don't think it's worth me trying to recondition it. There's some really, really rusty bits inside here, and I know that's only the seal for the reservoir, but it's going to be difficult for me to clean them up. Let's just get a new one. The only pain is, like I say, this is a genuine AP one. I think they're out of stock everywhere. We'll do a bit of searching. Do you know what? I could almost hear you guys shouting at me. What are you going to do about the servo, Keith? So obviously, like I said, where that's been leaking, that now has brake fluid inside the servo itself. It's probably not going to do the rubber seal in there very good, so we need to get that out. Luckily, I think, if I just... There we go. Yeah, so we'll leave that upside down. We'll clean that out with a bit of brake cleaner. So that's what I could see. And I done it the horrible way. Don't you do this. I dabbed my finger and tasted it. Tasted like brake fluid. It's probably not advised that, but we'll clean that all out. And look at that, look. Couldn't see that because it was underneath. Yeah, it's been leaking for a while, isn't it? Good call. Good call. Brilliant. Thanks for watching, guys. I think this will be in 2 parts. The next part will be me refitting it all. So thanks for watching. Appreciate your support and help. Keep watching the channel. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. There's some fantastic content coming up, which I can't reveal to you at the moment because it's not 100% certain, but it's 99% certain. So there's a big surprise coming. Really excited about it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, great week, whatever you're doing, and catch up with you soon.